Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Sticks and Bones podcast. It is High Priestess Chelsea and Dr. K. Hi, Dr. K. How are you?
I'm freezing my back ass off right now, but I'm good. How are you? Today's What Are the Girls Doing?
Today is What Are the Girls Doing? And quite literally, probably, I've been very excited for because we are in our Persephone era, if you will, if you see the title. The girls are getting ready to talk about Persephone. The girls have some updates, important updates they want to share with you. We're going to be talking about Eleusis. We're going to be talking about some of our favorite Persephone artwork in this episode. And so, I had to bring myself a glass of wine because I think, it's time for the girls to sit around with their margaritas and their chips and their salsa, and it's time to talk. We have to talk. We need to have a chit chat.
We got to chit chat. The age old favorite thing for women to do is to sit around, gather around, pull up a chair, grab your favorite piñata stick because that's right. It's time to beat a dead horse.
My parents came over last weekend, and Italians, if it's one thing they do, is they will hold a grudge and beat a dead horse. And so my brother's girlfriend, we talk about the same thing all the time when she comes over, like the same grudge we have. It's not really a grudge, but we're like, can you believe they did that? They don't invite us to their house. And I look at her and I'm like, I'm so sorry. We just have to beat the dead horse. And she's like, you guys beat this dead horse all the time, every time we gather for dinner. And I'm like, we can't help it. We can't help it.
Yeah, my family does the same thing, but the stories are like 30 plus years old now, to the point where while the dead horse is being beat in the background, me and my sister are reenacting the stories from memory because that's how well we know them.
For sure. And I always say, like, my dad and my brother, obviously Italian Americans, they are like old washwomen. Like they also like to beat the dead horse. They will bring up the horse, they will stir the pot. My brother will hold a grudge till God knows how long. And it's like his girlfriend is so sweet and nice, and she's just sitting there, and we're just like, yeah, yeah. And it's like any slight update in the story, we have to bring it up. Like we have to continue to talk about any comma change, anything changed, we have to.
Oh, I mean, we see them all the time on Instagram reels, and it's like girls, phones down, chips fully loaded, margaritas full, wine full. A new comma, a new like semicolon has made an appearance. It's time to break out literally all of the notes, all of the whiteboards, and it's time. You all know what I'm talking about. We all
Yes.
do it. Come
No,
on.
we do. And that's just like honestly just the rite of passage of being a girl. And honestly for the boys too, like for the guys. Like I said, my dad loves the tea, the gossip, the drama. He's like, what's the tea? Anytime we leave a family function, what's the tea? What's going on? What did I miss? The debrief. So
The great debrief.
we are here to debrief you today with none other than our great update on Mr. Lizos. So he is the author of The Secrets of Greek Mysticism. And Dr. K and myself, we've debriefed with Patreon, but we have some shocking and surprising revelations to the backlash from him that we've gotten for a criticism of his book. Not a critique of him, a criticism of his book. So it's going to be shocking. It's going to be a little perturbed. And the girls need to gather around because we are going to present you with the overall facts, not feelings. And we're going to tell you what's going on because we are honestly not okay with it. And we want to let you know that we do not support this kind of behavior. Before we dive into this, as always, we do not support bullying and harassing of any persons. Please do not go to their comment section. We do not need you to defend us. We are presenting this information because we think that you need to know. Did I miss anything?
No, that was an excellent use of the word perturbed.
I
That's
got
the
it.
word of the day.
That's my favorite word. Sometimes I whip it out when I'm ready. I'm like, I'm perturbed today.
You got perturbed. I got aforementioned.
True.
Pat Sajak and Vanna White, take us home.
So let's get down to the summary. So a few weeks ago, we did a criticism to kick off season one of the Sticks and Bones podcast with The Secrets of Greek Mysticism by George Lizos. And it was very clear that we approached the topic in a professional manner with decorum. We were critiquing Mr. Lizos's book. And we said, this is not a personal attack. This is a critique of what is currently present and you are peddling in your book. Our audience has asked us to review the book. Mr. Lizos himself tried to come on our podcast to promote his book. And we felt as though we have a right to critique someone's book that aligns with some of the work that we do, right? Like that is just the way of the world. Mr. Lizos decided to go to his Instagram account after he blocked us so that we cannot respond and spew a lie and say that we were attacking his ancestral practice and that we can't tell him about his beliefs. And I would like to remind you guys, if you are maybe didn't watch the episode, we never once brought up his ancestors or his practice of on his ancestral land. That was not part of the book.
No.
So he was framing this because I like to call him now George No Context Lizos. He is framing this now as we are launched an attack on him and his beliefs, and we have no right to do that as two white American women who are not uplifting a native Greek voice. Now, I would like to remind you guys the criticism, the three big topics, and I have it so neatly outlined in our chapters that we criticize Mr. Lizos on, which we still have not gotten a response from, is one, his problematic New Age spiritual background of promoting starseeds and neo Nazism. He has not come out and denounced this. He is doing everything but, which Dr. K is going to walk us through in a minute with her. She is featured on one of these posts, so I'm going to let her do the talking. Two, we brought up the fact that he denounces scholarship and says all scholars get it wrong. And he also admitted to leaving out citations, and that therefore equates to plagiarism. So we had some questions about that. Three, the last and final piece of this was his misogynistic tone on his views of the goddesses that as two women we did not agree with. Not once did we attack him personally. Not once did we attack his ancestral practice. Unless your ancestral practice is promoting starseed and neo-Nazi propaganda, then I continue to have some questions for you, and I'm going to continue to push that. He has done everything but answer these three things and is dancing around it entirely.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything with that?
I mean, he did, in his reply to our critique, he did admit to actively choosing to leave out citations, which by very definition is plagiarism. So I have many follow-up questions to that, not only to Mr. Lizos, but to his publisher, because as a professor, students in the United States for college, they can get kicked out for plagiarism. So how is a book getting published when the author is admitting to plagiarism? I ask.
And another crazy thing that he's been saying about us is that we are bullying and harassing him. And that is what he spun to his audience, that we are harassing him. We have never once contacted Mr. Lizos after the podcast episode. We have not tagged him anything. We have not promoted any bullying, hate, and harassment, which we state at the beginning of every podcast. We don't need you to defend us. We can defend ourselves through discourse and decorum and being professional. And I actually was so annoyed about how nice we were in the review when I listened back to it, because I aired on the fact we did that he didn't know that he was making these mistakes. But because of his silence is basically complicit in the neo-Nazi starseed propaganda, his admission to purposely leaving out citations to drive a certain narrative that is unfair for readers, and he has not addressed his views on misogyny of the goddesses, one would have to assume, allegedly, do you belong to these parties?
Well, then, any follow-up was interesting of him labeling us as hateful and aggressive, which is really the cherry on top as a woman who, has to take a stance or stand her ground, especially in academia. And while he's been able to make rebuttal claims, they've been in, just text format, but he was able to send us, before he blocked us, he was able to send our assistant 6 voice messages. So there's some confusion there, at least in my point of view, of if you can get on a voice message and talk, can you not talk about debunking or, expounding upon any of our criticisms of, hey, this is a little, white supremacy undertones here. Like, did you know about this? Like, if you didn't, like, let's just re-educate. Hey, you left out these citations. Like, maybe some would be helpful here. Or third, hey, your, tact of saying Hestia is blase and boring is really like kind of out of pocket. I have so many follow-up questions, and yeah, it's kind of weird, especially as, Chelsea's going to showcase in a moment. He's now using our images and more of me talking to continue to promote misinformation and pseudo history. And if you know me here on Sticks and Bones, or myself on Dirt Diaries, conspiracy theory, pseudo history, and pseudo archaeology are, kind of the big three that I don't stand for. And I mean, as Hollywood has accurately gotten with Indiana Jones, archaeologists call us Dr. Indiana Juke 'em out Jones. We absolutely stand up and punch Nazis. So I'm a little confused. Dare I say perturbed. But it's another day in the life of being a gal.
Yeah, we were watching this unfold online, and it was kind of interesting to me the way the route, like he's positioning this as we've attacked him and his people and his practice and his ancestral land, when we are two people that actively talk about the ancient Greeks and certain time periods and how they viewed things to give context to the ancient world, because it's different than what we think of today. So I'm just going to show you what's been going on in his Instagram, and so that you guys can see for face value, we're not lying to you about this. Like, this is actually, these are his posts and his name is here. Nothing is doctored. And I'm just going to show you. So Dr. K, I'm going to open these slides. And if you want to go ahead and walk us through this, please feel free.
Oh, yeah. So
Just tell me when to hit next, because let me see if I can pull two. Am I sharing my entire screen?
No, I just see the image.
Okay, perfect. I can see what I'm doing now. Okay, go ahead.
So we get a catchy tagline of,
Oops.
hey, were the Greek gods ever cruel? And then the answer may surprise you. Catchy. I'll give you that. And then goes into, you can go ahead and hit next. What
Sorry about
great
the screenshot. Sorry, I
great
apologize.
capture of me, because that has been my face since then, in a sense. Um so
I
I'm so
apologize.
sorry. I'm laughing at the still of myself. But what Mr. Lizos has failed once again to do so is provide context and background into this. The only time I had, talked about this and when this video clip is coming from is around the late 20-minute mark, where we are discussing, are the Greek gods of myth, are they love in light? Because I was pulling directly from his book, which if I do again, pardon this taking me a sec. It is here we go. Once again, it is page 18, where it says, we have to be in their alignment to receive their love and light. I did cite that. I don't believe he included that. And I, had some questions about
this. It's not anywhere in this post, by the way, the citation. He does not cite his own book in his rebuttal.
no, which yes, you can and should cite yourself if you do. So if I am to reenact myself past 10, let's get it going. I was in reference to page 18, which I said, hey, there is no such thing as love and light and or receiving their love and light in ancient Greece. Could you provide a citation? Chelsea actually followed that up beautifully with, how we were discussing, Greek mythology and the gods, while they have acts of wrath, they make for some of the best stories of, why we're still talking about them today. Followed that up with, I believe, I'm so sorry. I believe on page 21, under the premise of there are no evil gods, I then talked about, again, I was just saying, maybe we should talk about our terminology, but he was talking about high and low vibrations, and High Priestess Chelsea came in to say, hey, this is where it actually comes from. It's New Age spirituality terms. And I said, okay, but there's no citation here, again, on page 21 to support this. So the clip here is utterly fascinating because none of this context is provided. But what I find really the cherry on top for me as a scholar, as an archaeologist, is that you are using my words and my face to promote your own work, which that's interesting. That's an interesting choice. But the whole book itself is on the cusp of pseudo history and pseudo archaeology. So I don't stand for that. And it's kind of wild that you're using me to kind of boost yourself up.
Well, I would also like to point out, very well said to the podcast listeners, that once again, George No Citation Lizos has not cited our podcast anywhere in this post or even bothered to tag me or Dr. K so that we can rebuttal the things that he is saying.
Mhm.
He's actively tried to silence us on these platforms so that he can just paint a narrative, which is what he has been doing in his book, which is what we criticize in the book to begin with. But now it's playing out in real life. So, does anyone on the screen here see Styx and Bones podcast and the title of the episode, perchance? Do you see Dr. K and High Priestess Chelsea listed here? Any tags, mentions? I don't see Styx and Bones mentioned anywhere here.
No, I
So
see
where are you pulling this
all of
video?
it. I don't know.
Okay, so the thing is, I have a theory that he doesn't want to draw attention to the podcast because it obviously is not a good look for his book. And once again, I would like to remind people this was not one of our main criticisms of his
No.
book. Are the gods cruel? We never said the gods were cruel. We did talk about the ancient perspective of if if you put yourself in the ancient world for a second. The ancient peoples understood their gods on a different level than we do because if an earthquake is happening or a volcano erupts, they don't know about tectonic plate movements or why earthquakes are being caused. They thought Poseidon was shaking the earth. Because what would be the explanation for that if you don't have any advanced science?
Is that the individual who has associations to that is doing it? Perhaps the great earth shaker is displeased. Perhaps we need to do
Sure,
something. It's a
sure.
sign, it's an omen. It could be, you would turn to the religious officials of the time to say, like, hey, should we read deeper into this? Like, should we do something?
And another thing I don't like is he's positioning us as religious zealots where we are teaching religion by mythology only. First of all, we don't teach about ancient Greek religion. We talk about it, but we're not an authoritative figure on that. And that was not part of our conversation about your book. If you have issues or umbrage with anything else we've mentioned in a podcast, please feel free. But the thing is, that is not how we view things, and it's being presented that way online as we that's like saying we are Christians that only go by what's in the Bible. You're making us look like we're stupid, that we don't understand science, that we are not educated and we can't make distinctions from mythology and science and theology. This was not the criticism of your book that you are peddling to people. May I go to the
No,
next?
yeah, absolutely.
So here, so George No Citations Lizos knows how to cite at this point. So he's citing Plato, all these other things to why the Greek gods are not wrathful or cruel. The problem is this was not cited in your book. So it's great that you are aware of these citations and aware of these things. I don't know if you did your research afterwards to think, yeah, I got them. You can actively see Dr. K talking about the no citations in that part where people were actually like making fun of us. Like our own audience was like, take a shot every time someone says sources or citations or sings Kumbaya, right? So it's great that you know of this, but this was not presented in your work.
Correct.
So once again, null and void. And I'm going to move to the next slide now, which I think is the most disturbing part of this all. Do you want to describe this, Dr. K?
In Mr. Lizos's work, he does include a brief section that I believe is from the YSEE concerning the modern interpretation of the Greek Wheel of the Year in order to bring back ancient celebrations, etc., what they're basing it on, and that's fine. That's new. That's modern. So I have no problem with that as long as we are acknowledging it is not ancient. But this is kind of weird because Mr. Lizos has in his book referenced that even scholars get it wrong. He doesn't use scholarship. He doesn't believe in scholarship or academia. A little bit unclear about the YSE at this point as well on that point. But
Oh, I have a post about that I'm going to bring up after this. So
yeah, it's
bring
just a
context
little.
to the Wheel of the Year, and I'm going to bring up his position on the YSE and what they believe because it's important.
But it is very interesting to like see your face talk about something, have the point be so completely missed, and then your face being used in a post to promote something that was a part of pseudo history and pseudo mythology that was plagiarized. It's disheartening as an academic. Like it's gross. I'm so sorry. I don't stand for this. I don't like conspiracy theories, and I don't like pseudo history and pseudo archaeology. So it's a no from me. Just know I was not asked to co-sign this. And yeah, it goes against everything I personally believe.
So, I'm talking to you, George Marketing Lizos, if you listen to this episode. My face is also in this, and I do not condone you using my face to promote your YSEE Greek Wheel of the Year, which I personally have not read through, nor do I understand. So I could not give any context to it, but I think it's really disgusting as someone who is in marketing that you're using someone else to say, comment wheel to get a freak wheel of the year. You're an ordained Hellenic priest with an organization. You should be promoting yourself, the people of your organization. Imagine a Catholic priest walking out there and using the face of J-Lo to promote the Catholic Church without her consent, right? Like, I don't know, I'm just using something. You are not allowed to do that. So,
Yeah.
why are you creating a platform off of the backs of women? You are continuously using and taking things out of context to get people riled up, which once again, we don't care because it's very apparent to us that people did not listen to our podcast, which is the whole point of the episode, by the way, which I think we stated, and I'm quoting myself. Why are we blindly following people without looking into anything? And the point has kind of proven itself. So that's neither here nor there because that's just the way of the world today. No critical thinking. People don't care to look. But the thing is, this is unacceptable. So maybe start using yourself to speak about your own beliefs and not use us. We had questions about your citations, you presenting things as historical facts, but you are not properly citing Homer, Hesiod, the hymns, any sort of reference for that. You still have not denounced the neo-Nazi starseed propaganda. That is a huge part of your new age spirituality. And in our comment section, you actually doubled down on it.
Mhm.
You said that you cannot help being a new age spiritualist as it's part of your practice. Well, the thing is, it's called new age spirituality for a reason. So I will always call out problematic, anti Semitic, xenophobic, racist behavior. And the fact that you have not denounced it is quite telling to those of us that are paying attention. So, how you're viewing women and goddesses in the book, I have some questions for you now, considering you are calling us aggressive and hateful. And the thing is, I could be so much more aggressive and hateful. This is me on level zero. I'm being very professional because I don't see, to hate you would be, I know you personally.
Sure.
I don't have a personal relationship with you. I don't hate you. You can believe whatever you want. We were simply critiquing your book. So maybe don't take such an emotional approach to receiving criticism because I would have a lot more respect for you if you took accountability for the things that you did.
Mhm.
Did I miss anything there?
I don't think so. Is that the only post?
No, it is not. I'm going to pull up another
Oh.
post because George Lizos has been peddling to his audience that we do not understand theology and that we are religious zealots that only go by the myth, which once again, you are presenting women in a dumb light that we cannot think. That is, like I said before, stating that we only believe in the Bible and what the Bible says, and the creation story is exactly how it happened. And we are not two people that believe in science. Dr. K is married to a scientist, by the way. So, I have some questions for you, and Sticks and Bones is coming to spin the block because if you're going to be about it, be about it. Don't run your mouth like this because now I got to bring up the receipts. Okay? You're not going to try to trick us or our audience. Thank you very much. Give me 1 second, Dr. K. And sorry, guys, I'm getting a little heated now because I just think he tries to undermine us. And it's just kind of not the point of the criticism of your book. You still have not answered our criticism. So maybe we'll get an answer this time.
No, no, it is a point of note to make people aware of. And yeah, I find it fascinating that in either representation of his use of our images never has tagged us. I don't even know if he references us as more than like these women, these girls. Last I checked, it was High Priestess Chelsea and Mr. Lizos. It is Doctor over here. Okay. I didn't go to school. I didn't go to school for debt and degrees for nothing.
So 100%. And he has been positioning to people that we are just saying that the gods are cruel, which once again was a at best 2-minute clip of us talking about how you call the Greek gods love and light. So I want to see that. Where is that in Plato? We never said that the people did not view the gods as having love for mortals or caring about people. We are talking about your love and light language and your new age propaganda that you spew in your book, which you are not denouncing or bringing any attention to. So I want to read this. But Homer and Hesiod show cruel gods. First of all, we can debate the word cruel all day long. I don't think the gods are cruel. I don't. It's a different time. The stories are very reflective of the society. Like we can debate that word, just like he claimed the people call the Greek gods evil. Like we don't say that. We don't believe that.
Sure. Yeah.
We look at it through an ancient historical lens with facts, not feelings. So I don't make the claim all Greeks believe this. I claim this is how the gods were understood at the theological level. Greek religion was not monolithic. There were poetic traditions, civil cults, mystery religions, and philosophical theologies. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. I'm following the Platonic theological tradition, which explicitly rejects literal readings of mythology.
That's fantastic. Neither of that was anywhere in the literature that we cited, um, written by Mr. Lizos. Also, who said we are doing a literal interpretation? I'm a little confused there. Do we
Um,
think that Zeus is actively snatching people from the sky? No.
I don't know if it's to reframe it in such a way where we don't know what we're talking about, because once again, George No Context Lizos likes to leave out the context of everything to frame it in a way that highlights him. Just like he said, we were attacking his ancestral practice and his beliefs. Um, I even was very nice in the video and I said, I'm not going to get into New Age beliefs because if that's what you believe, that's what you believe. But I am going to ask you questions about the Starseed neo-Nazi propaganda that you are promoting. So once again, I've gotten no answer on that. And I keep bringing it up because it bothers me deep in my soul that you are doing everything you can to try to harm our reputation and take things out of context, but you have still not answered the criticism in which was about your book, not you as a person.
Oh, not none of this was about him as a person. It was about what
Oh,
was published in front of my face. Um, yeah, yeah, it's interesting. The Platonic stuff. He goes on to mention there's a section, like a 2-page chapter concerning mythology versus theology, but neither is it talking about his
okay.
theoretical philosophical approaches to this book, which I think could have really helped the reader interpret and consume what was in front of them. Which is kind of interesting that all of these citations can come out now, but they weren't anywhere. And per Mr. Lizos' words, he actively chose to leave them out. So again, why now? Why citations now? Why are we not, talking about, what was published and why? Just a lot of questions,
That we're never going to
personally.
get answered because every day he has been posting something about us, not properly citing the podcast, blocking us so we can't respond. So it's like, we also have to stop saying we can't say that about people. We should lift people up because they're native to a certain area of land. If someone is promoting pseudo archaeology and neo Nazi propaganda, I am most certainly not going to lift them up. So, for the people that have been saying that to us, of how could we as two American women, um, I fear you've missed the plot of the story. This is not a personal attack. I just had some questions that needed answers to the things that you were peddling to people. That's it.
Yeah.
We're good enough for you to ask to come on our podcast, but we're not good enough for you to answer our criticism. So you can promote your pseudo archaeological book to our audience, but you will not answer the criticism correctly. You will take a 2-minute clip out of context for people, not cite the podcast, and say that basically we're religious zealots and we only believe myth bar for bar. When we've actively broken down the myth many of times on the podcast and different translations.
So wild. I don't even know. There's not enough breadcrumbs to Hansel and Gretel my way back to the main point.
No, and I'm sorry, for you to take my gal pal Dr. K out of context, who is a professional scholar with her PhD, which you have beef with personally, and use it to your advantage to sell your Greek Wheel of the Year is distasteful. And I'm perturbed as a woman and a person. So we should not be celebrating things like this. Maybe we should stop and think, I don't know. I don't think this is the right way to go. I don't. If you should have made a podcast defending your book and making these claims, bar for bar, what we said.
Yeah, I mean, I was off screen. I was talking to a high priestess Chelsea, and I was like, "Do I need to come out with like a public PR statement to say that I don't support this Greek Wheel of the Year? I don't, shockingly, promote pseudo history and pseudo archaeology. I mean, you all have seen me go out to bat with the conspiracy theory
Sure.
nutheads about what lies underneath the pyramids. Like, truly, it's giving ancient aliens. Like, maybe the History Channel is looking for somebody new. I don't know, but I don't. Do I need to come out and say like I don't stand for this? Like I thought we were all about scholarship here. Like I know he might have an issue with scholarship in academia. That's on you. I don't know what to tell
Sure.
you, but just no, I don't support this. I don't support um white supremacist ideologies. I don't support racism, xenophobia, anti Semitism, any sort of hatred, any conspiracy theory that discounts in like ancient cultures um for sake of aliens. I can't believe I have to say this as a as a person in 2026. No, Dr. Kellenbarger does not stand for this. Do not use my image. Do not doctor me. Do not run me through AI to prove a point. I can't believe I have to say that in today's day and age.
I co-sign that, by the way. And it's really just not giving love and light, like the virtues of the love and light world. So instead of calling women hateful and aggressive, which is probably 90% of your audience, and they're all clapping and going, yay, Chelsea and 10 bullied and harassed George Lizos. How about we do better as a community and a society and maybe actually listen to the podcast episode because I think we were way too nice. What I will concede on the fact is I do understand we come off curt and we are blunt in our tone. And that is because you guys know we exist on the East Coast, which is a cultural thing, which I even think I extended him the grace of when he kept trying to smooth things over with us by inviting us to Cyprus and just saying, why can't we all be friends? I'm like, I don't know if this is a cultural thing. I'm willing to concede on that point. And you're offending me culturally, and I'm willing to concede on that. So, but you guys know where we're from, and that's just the way that we speak. So, yeah, maybe we shouldn't be calling women that are just diving into books aggressive because we're educated. That's a big problem considering our audience is women, mostly women, and hi to however else you identify, however, whoever else is out there listening. Um, Everyone's welcome here, but yikes. Was that enough chips, salsa, and margaritas for the day?
Oof. Yeah, and please, a PSA for me, stop using our images, our likeness to spin a narrative that never existed.
Oh, it's the only thing getting likes, clicks, and views, by the way. It's like all of his pin posts is building the back off of women that have been doing this podcast for 5 years.
Why are you not tagging Dirt Diaries? I'd love to debunk conspiracy theories. That's my favorite thing, is to give
Yeah,
people the facts and the history that they need with citations
he blocked us.
after sending 6 voice notes. But what you gonna do? To be a girl is to perform. But really, I think that two women kind of standing up for themselves and or taking power back is utterly fascinating because if we want to go bar for bar about talking about mythology, well, you've come to the right place with two individuals who love to gab about the past and love to talk about Greek mythology, but through a modern interpretation, but also bridging the gap between modern and ancient perspectives. So we're coming upon spring. It's vastly early for spring. But who else represents spring in a beautiful manner, who also represents the duality of not only the goddesses or how the ancient gods are being viewed, but women in general. And I think Persephone is the perfect example of that. Goddess of spring, daughter of a mother who went against her own father and led a revolution, and wife of the king of the underworld, who is also venerated by the dead herself, the world literal ender, creator and ender, just like women truly are today, Persephone.
Well, I wish you gave me an intro like that because that was beautiful to bring in Persephone. And we are in our Persephone girl era. And this is to showcase the duality of goddesses, but also women in general. That, yeah, sometimes we are the goddess of spring and sometimes we have to thrash down like the queen of the underworld when she stomped on the myth plant, which I accidentally said on that podcast episode when I was trying to say myth. When I was talking about the criticism of the secrets of Greek mysticism, myth came out of my mouth twice. And I said, oh my God,
Ah, oy.
yikes. Um, But we wanted to show you guys one of our favorite statues of Persephone because we got new art in the temple, which if you were on Patreon, we did the whole debrief of the statues and the reconstructed art. But we want to show you one of our favorites because this is when you go to see the Persephone art in the temple, which I'll show you. This is what we based it off of. So we can run you through it a little bit so you guys can see why it's so important and why like we ultimately pick it because who are the girls if they're not looking at these statues, right?
The girls are studying classics, the girls are reading books, they're critically thinking, and they are consuming ancient art. That's what they're doing here. But no, I think that the statue that was used as inspiration, I think beautifully encapsulates kind of everything about like girl, goddess, queen, kind of everything that Persephone truly is in of her essence of you can be the daughter and you can be this goddess of spring who brings life in and is all about, flowers. But I think what we're missing underneath all of that kind of stuff and is flowers are not just beautiful, but they can be deadly. And as queen of the underworld, of course, when her position is challenged, she does step up to the plate as her husband does allow her to do, and she settles the score. And when two men came in to try and kidnap her from her own husband, from behind the scenes, she let it occur and Perithus was never seen again. So I personally, as a archaeologist and art historian, I absolutely love this statue because we are seeing a matriarch, we're seeing a queen, we are seeing a woman in her power. Again, dress really sets the stage in so many words about defining power, defining your position in this world. And while we see a little bit, dare I say, wet drapery around her midsection with like a belly button showing, what we can see is there is power in being covered up here. That is showcasing her role. That is showcasing she is married. She is of higher status. But at the same time, don't let it fool you because that does not mean that she is any less or any better than, dare I say, Aphrodite when she is shown nude or in completely see through drapery. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. These women were goddesses, and even men and kings bent the knee to them.
Yeah, I absolutely love wet drapery. As you guys know, we are wet drapery girls, just like we are in the temple. Like everything that we do is associated with wet drapery because like Dr. K said, you could be married and wearing some form of drapery. You can be Aphrodite, which obviously Aphrodite is going to be naked with wet drapery. That is who she is. Like even if she was married, right? Like I feel like that's just Aphrodite, and that's why we love her because it is all these different aspects of being a woman where you can be sexy, and sometimes sexy is being modest. Sometimes sexy is showing your breast if you want to, or that one statue where her little behind is out, where it's like, tee.
It's a little tishy.
The Nike of Samothrace has wet drapery, right? And she's announcing victory. So it's just some of my favorite. And honestly, I wish sculptures like this still went on today. Like, could you imagine a man sculpting this of you?
I mean, there was a little bit of a push for this during the neoclassical period, where there was this desire from artists and sculptors to look at the past, but it wasn't the same. Like,
Mm-mm.
uh, to be somebody's muse back in the day.
No, I can't even talk about it. Like so many artists like really had a muse. And I'm like, to be somebody's muse, I feel like is the biggest, in my opinion, compliment of entirety. Cause like how
I know
romantic is that? You are my muse. Or it could be
that
creepy.
is
It
a
could be creepy.
man can say he loves you, but you could be somebody's muse. Never settle, ladies.
That's true. Okay, one thing I want to highlight with this Persephone statue is notice that she doesn't have any arms. Okay, so when Dr. K and myself were reconstructing artwork for our own store and temple and some of the stuff that has Persephone in it, we had to decide, and for the
Mhm.
stops here on Patreon, you guys already know this. We had to decide if we were going to reconstruct her arms back or we were just going to leave her as this statue, kind of like the Venus de Milo, which we love that she doesn't have like it.
Yeah.
So we were like, hello, are we going to keep this? Are we not? Like, what's the vibe? What are the
What's
vibes
the
of the girls?
Yeah, for those curious little kitty cats out there, the arms and any extensions from the body are going to be the first things to go. Unfortunately, like when we dig them up, they will not survive just because those are the more delicate areas. So a lot of times we will see them missing, unfortunately.
Okay, let me share our art now. And if you want the full breakdown, because we also have Hera and Aphrodite, we did this on Patreon where we kind of walked you through the process and the statues that we use to reconstruct these things and like why we don't want to take something and make it modern. Like we chose for reconstruction. We also reconstructed Hecate as well, which was so much fun. I had the best time doing this, honestly.
That was for the girls.
Oh my God, it really was. How do I? Sorry, I feel like a boomer every time I'm here. I'm like, how do I share my screen? Okay, wait here. Like,
How do I open this PDF?
literally, that's how I feel every time on this podcast. I'm like, I have the great honor of sharing my screen and I hate it. Thanks, I hate it. Okay, so if you see here, we have reconstructed Persephone.
Yeah. It is taken from comparative artwork of the same time period. So if you're like, that's made up. No, we looked at the corpus of ancient Greek sculpture.
Yeah, and we obviously, as you can see here, reconstructed her arms because we were like, if Hera has arms and Aphrodite has arms, we have to put arms on Persephone, or else it looks like we're picking favorites.
Yeah, like as beautiful as the statue is without arms, like arms can also tell a story. Like
Sure.
how fans and like the different periods of history can like tell stories, like the fan language, where you place your moles. Like there's so many different things.
Absolutely. And you can see in her arm, we also put a pomegranate in it because she's associated with that. And I know you're probably like, wow, that's duh, but it just it was telling a story for us. Um, Side note, one of my favorite things about Persephone, I would say, is the vows that Hades says to her in the Homeric hymn.
Oh,
Where he basically,
oh.
and we summarized that on Patreon too, like we did on the top tier, we basically annotated the whole entire hymn. And he basically is saying to her, like, look, like, I know I kidnapped you. I'm paraphrasing and making it modern, but I promise you equal power. Like I promise that if anyone speaks out against you, I am going to burn them, basically. And glory to Persephone is what he's saying. And I was like,
Honestly, I remember after we annotated that was after like our mine and Kevin's wedding, or like our formal wedding and everything. And on our year anniversary after last year, we were reading our vows again, and I was like, should have taken from the Homeric hymn. Oh, blender of the century.
what are you going to do if someone comes and spins the block, Kevin? Are you going to crush them? Like, what is going to happen?
Like, please, like his vows at the wedding made me cry, but I was like, could have brought in that ancient one too.
For real. Also, sorry, my phone keeps going off. Speaking of moms that go scorched earth, my mom is currently calling me 5 million times because I'm not answering my phone because she thinks that I don't. She doesn't understand that I podcast sometimes at night. So I have to text her because Ten can tell you this. If I don't answer her, she's gonna call the cops.
She's gonna call the cops and then me. And then she's going to go. You thought Demeter went scorched earth, everybody, and was sending droves of humanity down to the underworld. High Priestess Chelsea's mom will give Demeter a run for her money any day of the week and twice on Sunday.
For real. And I'm on Do Not Disturb, and she's surpassing my Do Not Disturb. And I know it's not an emergency, so like I have to text her back or she's gonna think something is very wrong.
You know, growing up, because my dad was a custom cabinet maker and he was always around loud machines, we had to go kind of like our own Morse code system, especially because, I mean, you and me, we grew up when cell phones were starting to come out and be new. Back when
Yes.
it was the Razor. Oh, I wanted a pink Razor so bad back in the day. I never got it. But we had a rule in our family that if we needed to get in touch with my dad, if we just wanted to jibber jabber and chat with the girls, we would just call once. He would always have it on vibrate. But if it was like, in fact, like an emergency, we needed an answer ASAP, we would call multiple times because he would stop and feel the vibrations. And if it stopped, he was like, it's a no. If it kept going, he would shut everything down and answer. So Kevin and I have had to establish the same thing. If I call twice, it's an emergency. If not, I just want to gab. And ask if he would love me if I was a worm.
I might need to establish that with my mom because she calls 3 times a day. And I used to get annoyed about it, but like, you think about mortality sometimes and you're like,
Yeah.
to different perspective. I know it's annoying when your parents call you every 5 seconds sometimes, but think about it. Like one day they won't be calling you every 5 seconds. So that's helped me not get upset about it because she worries about me all of the time because I am by myself. So she's always calling me because she's like, my independent girl is out there like paying all her own bills, doing all her own things. So she freaks out. So that's why I'm like, I'm so sorry. She surpassed the do not disturb. So like now, next is the police. We can't have this.
Truly, like Herculean tasks, moms will just like pass them all in one blow. They will make the Herculean tasks look like a walk in the park. And you're like, damn.
And I don't know if your mom says this, but my mom does. She goes, "You're not a mom. You don't understand how I feel. Like, you don't get it. You don't have kids." And I'm like, I do. And they're called cats. Okay. I do understand, I
My
guess.
mom will say, one day when you have your own, you'll understand. And I was like, what are you talking about? I've given you two grandbabies.
Yeah. Perfect.
They're perfect.
Perfect. They have all different fur patterns and they don't speak.
No, voodoo yells.
She does. Every time I'm at your house, Voodoo's always going, and I'm like, I can't tell if you like that I've pet you or if you're displeased. And I'm good at reading cats, but ma'am, I do not know. There she
She
is.
says, she says, I've been summoned. The girls are talking.
She said it's been a
She
while.
loves to gab. This one, this one needs chips and margaritas.
That's why she's here. But Voodoo, I fear that you're late to the party.
You and your all-seeing eye, ma'am. But with Persephone, we are not only entering our Persephone era because it's spring, of course, not to quote the devil wears Prada, of course, florals for spring, groundbreaking, but that is exactly kind of what Persephone is and what she represents, which her mystery cult at Eleusis beautifully encapsulates because the gals are getting back on the horse. We are redoing our Eleusis episode. We've gotten over the fact that people have stolen it, sold it, and never credited us, even though it comes from my lectures at college.
Mhm.
And we're going to do it better.
People
So
will do everything but cite Sticks and Bones podcast.
they will. They'll frolic with things that are not real nor based in fact or history. And sometimes you'll find them in the same company together.
Yeah, so Eleusis, I'm very excited to talk about Eleusis again. We're very passionate about it. And I think this comes from the fact we are going to Greece. So quick Greece trip plug, as tax return season is approaching and encroaching on us. We are making a trip to Eleusis when we go to Greece in September of this year. So we have 5 early bird spots left. If you guys are interested in coming with us, you can tap the description in below. We've done many podcast episodes breaking down the itinerary. We are going to do one on our girl math on the price of the trip and why it's a good price for traveling to Greece and everything. So if you're like, I don't really know if it's a good price, I promise you, as 2 people who have traveled to Italy, Dr. K has been to Europe many times. It can get pricey and expensive. Plus, it's kind of like you're the princess passenger. We have like people driving us places. Everything's already planned for you. You're just showing up and saying, I'm here.
Yeah.
And you can have us, duh. We can have probably not margaritas and chips, but we can have wine, we can have cheese, we can have euros.
Mastique, house wine. We can have raki. We can have ouzo. Ooh, they'll put you on your ass, but it's fun.
And you can spill the tea to us. You can tell us your qualms in your life. I'm always here to listen to other people's issues, like anything but my own.
Also, we will be celebrating Girl Dinner Club with a Hekate's Depnon, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah, Dapnon falls on the new moon, which is happening during our trip to Greece. I think on the day we are at Eleusis, I might
I
have.
think so, which just happened to occur that way. And we go right before, the intended greater mysteries and the initiation into that would have taken place back in the ancient day and time. Really, really cool nonetheless. Just being able to go there, and it's I have no words for it, honestly.
Yeah, I'm gonna cry, especially at Eleusis. And yeah, a lot of people we have a few people that have signed up already. So if you're interested, there are people ranging from the ages of 25 all the way to 50. So do not think you are weird based on your age joining this trip. Like we have girly pops from all over the place that are coming. So come with us. You can meet new friends. It's not going to be awkward or weird. Like we are here to chit chat and gab, and we're going to have dinner together, and we'll be able to like hang out and go see ancient sites. I'll take your photos. We get a lot of photos. I'm thinking Sticks and Bones shirts. Like we're on like the Disney adults trips where everyone has a matching shirt, but
Do
like
love
cool,
those.
but not like, not like weird.
But I am awkward and weird. But, we've talked about a few mystery cults here. Um, and then, of course, on our own kind of extra adventures, we've talked about other mystery cults, and there's quite a few. We haven't talked about all of them, but we've made reference to the cult of Dionysus, the cult of Isis. We've talked in reference to the cult of Mithras and never done a deep dive. And of course, the Eleusinian mysteries back when it was up and active. We also have reference in ancient sources to the cult of Kybele and so many more. But, Chelsea, if you had to rush ancient mysteries,
My God.
who are you pledging to?
Well, for all the girls listening out there, I want to let you know I am a pledge of the Alpha Phi. So I was in a sorority once a long time ago. So if I have any Alpha Phis out there, AOE. Um, you don't have like a three-letter thing you say?
No.
Oh, it means something. I forget what it means because I've been out of college for a long time and I do not wear sorority letters anymore. But I was part of Alpha Phi at Towson University. But if I had to pick my own to rush, I am going to pick, I think at this phase of my life, the mystery cult of Dionysus.
Mm,
Okay. Mostly
okay.
because I want to be a maenad.
I love that. I'm here for it.
They're out here tearing men apart. They are getting, certain levels of ecstasis. Like I am ready for the crazy, like different phases of my life. I'm here for different cults, but I think today I want to be part of the mystery cult of Dionysus. I drank my wine today, like a little bit of wine, and so I feel like I'm already exuding that energy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What about yourself?
Oh, God.
It's okay if you say the same. I won't be upset.
Like I feel like I don't know what that says about me, but like the cult of Eleusis is just like so beautiful. You know, I think for this part in my life, and maybe I'm feeling a little nostalgic, because we are in the new year and we just passed all the holidays together, at least in the United States. But this year I was able to travel back to California where my parents and my sister and brother-in-law are located. And not just the topic of mortality came up, but in a sense, like the time we don't have. And as somebody who lives on the East Coast, I went to college out here, grad school, all that kind of stuff. I got married to somebody from out here. So I've kind of set up roots out here. But when I get to travel, I do feel like that connection between mother and daughter that is really celebrated with the cult of Eleusis, between Persephone and Demeter. And not that I am, ever like putting myself in there, but as somebody who has to like go transitionally with her husband for part of the year and then will be able to go and see her family for like say another part, there is just something about that really just always rings true to me. So I'm gonna be cliche and I'm gonna say the Eleusinian mysteries, but man, if I was a man back in the day, sign my ass up for the cult of Mithras. Like,
Yeah, that was going to be my secondary because I couldn't do it. So like if I was a man,
sure.
when someone tells you that you can't be a part of something, you're like, yeah, watch me, I'm going to
You're
do
like,
it.
now I'm gonna do it harder.
Now I'm going to do it harder. That was my second, and I also find the cult of Isis pretty interesting as well. But yeah, I think just based on where I am in my life, like I feel very Dionysus energy. And it's funny because we have a lot of people that are obsessed with the mystery cult of Dionysus that listen to this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding, every like few months we'll get a DM and it's like, are you going to talk about Dionysus and his mystery cult? Are you going to talk about Dionysus and his mystery cult? And we're like, we are, I promise. It's just so cool. So it depends
Yeah.
where you are.
It depends where you are. I mean, the mystery cults of Dionysus and like the new archaeological finds that I've dived deeper into, they really just show like the frivolity and the frolicking. The girls need a good frolic. And yeah, I mean, the cult of Kybele is also fascinating, but
Yes.
like, I don't know. Like, I like Isis, but like, I don't. I think it's also beautiful, but I don't want to like mourn my husband and everything as like part of it. But like,
Well,
I do love what it like promotes and everything, but
I don't have a
ultimately,
husband, so I think that's why I'm like, it's fine for me.
but I mean, they're all beautiful, and just the fact that they really remove that like fear around death and really salvation, quote unquote, in the afterlife, and you're going to a better place. There's just something about that is just so human. Which, of course, here we love being able to connect to the past, but you know how Netflix or whoever has it, Hulu maybe, I don't remember, who has like the docu series on like Bama Rush.
Oh, I think it's HBO Max. Yeah, I haven't watched it mostly because I went to not a Southern sorority, and I have to say Rush there kind of scared me as a person, where they're yelling and chanting in your face. And yes, like we do that, like obviously, I was part of a sorority in college, but that it was more like North type of sorority. It's very different. North and South sororities are very different.
Well,
It's
like the docu-series, and it's so crazy because like when it comes upon like social media every single year, like when it's about that time, it's so fascinating because it's like its own culture and everything on its own. People will go to colleges just to pledge, which I find fascinating. Um, but man, if they can get a docu-series on like Bama Rush, they got to get a docu-series going on like rushing ancient mystery cults. Like this is my pitch to Netflix. You guys got K-pop Demon Hunters, which I'm happy for you, but I'd like to propose ancient mysteries and who's going where to what house. That's what I want.
I'm here for that. I love it, and I like to learn about them. I always kind of semi forget that Catholicism is considered a mystery cult. So
It
when people
is.
ask me, "Well, mystery cult," I'm like, "Oh, I am in one. I am in one, and there's crazy things that goes on there." No, I'm just kidding. It's the mystery cult that's not really a mystery. You know what I mean? It's like,
Well, every year I ask my students, that's a one of their quiz questions is like, let me know, like, do you think from all the mystery cults that we covered and like the four tenets, do you think it fits? And a lot of people will say yes, but they'll say like what sets it apart is where I would like say no is like it's not secret, even though secrecy is like the undefined fifth element. And I'm like, I see you, but a lot of them are like, oh yeah, that's a mystery cult. I love that.
it's, I mean, drinking the blood of Christ and receiving his body and like the promise of an afterlife. And then there's like weird things that you do. Like Palm Sunday, we reenact the whole uh
Everything.
you reenact the whole like crucifixion of Jesus Christ. Like when I went to church, because you guys know I'm an Italian folk girly, I had to get my palm leaves to do, my palm stuff. I'm not really a church going gal, but sometimes you got to go to church to get some things because you need it because it's part of a superstition and mysticism in your culture. And we had to reenact the whole crucifixion of Christ. And I said, oh my God, I can't do this. I don't want to. It was just long.
We used to have to do that on Good Friday back in the day. But yeah, no, I my students are like, yeah, like they have Catholicism has initiation, a quote unquote relationship with the God, which will teach you like morals and how to act, how to be a good person. Jesus flipped the tables in the temple. Um, and it gives you like the aspect of like going to the better place, so heaven. And then it transforms you, which is like this is like the nuanced fourth one of like it transforms you in a way that like the state religion did not at that time. So for the early church in Rome, it was secondary to the state religion.
I mean, it fits mystery cult in my head. So I'm like, I'm in a mystery cult. And my parents are like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like out of like their initiations, I'm trying to think. I think like theirs is like okay, but like there's cooler initiations.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I that's why I think I like the mystery cult of Dionysus. Now the initiation part, I mean, kind of scares me sometimes. Like, don't I have to look at a bull penis or something or a goat penis or balls?
Yeah.
I
And
don't want to see
there
that.
there might be some flagellation. Unclear on that. But I would argue that it's not the stations of the cross like in Catholicism, but there is a reenacting, apparently, supposedly, according to ancient writers, that there was a reenactment of like the abduction of Persephone. So like
Oh,
that is interesting.
kind
Of
of
like
fun.
it's not the stations of the cross, but like there is this drama, this reenactment, which
I feel like there has to be. There with a mystery cult needs to bring a little bit of drama and like something. You're doing something crazy, something that the regular folk don't want to do, right? Like that's
Yeah, which like comparatively, like baptism of like pouring water,
Sure.
now where's the drama?
Well, if you have an Italian family, there's always drama on the baptism. My aunt sat down at my cousin's baptism and goes, "That ain't a priest," and she's like deaf, so she screamed it out loud, and the whole church heard, and even the priest, and it was a problem. You know what I mean? So like, it depends. So yeah, it really just depends. You know what I'm saying? It depends. But yeah, no, I'm at the mystery cult of Dionysus in my life. I could do a little fun, little something a little spicy. I don't know.
Light it up, you know. Um, but anything else that you would love to add to this? Um, yeah, maybe we'll do some more debunking. I mean, we already kind of started the debunking when with the we're judging episode, but nothing as, like the critical review.
True. That episode, I told people I was autistic, and then they told me I was ableist. So, love those episodes for us. Like, what is going on? Anyway, I was sharing my lived experience as an adult woman with autism, and everyone said, "You're ableist," because I said, there's power in having a mental disability, and we shouldn't look at it as a disability entirely. We should use it as a superpower. God forbid you say a nice message over there. So, I don't know what's going on with the people of the world. But I do want to say to those of you that listen, thank you so much for supporting us. And we are obviously moving on with our life about this. We do bring these things to the forefront because we like to show you the truth of the situation. And if someone is lying about our name, we are always going to speak on it if it makes sense. And yeah, like I said, we don't need to go and defend us and, raise arms in the comment section. It's just to show you how people will blindly follow people, which we don't advocate for. And you should really look
Mhm.
into some of the things that they're saying. You should double check things. You should look for citations. You should believe in history. You should denounce neo-Nazi propaganda. You should not harass and bully women and call them aggressive, and then continue to post about them when it was just a critical review of your book, and frame it in a way that was not the truth and people believed, because people just don't want to see past what's going on. So yeah, we
Yeah.
thank you guys so much, and that's all I have to say about that. We're fine. We're not bothered or perturbed, but not upset.
No, yeah, it's always facts over feelings here, and yeah, it's just been kind of interesting to see the blind leading the blind. But yeah, interesting nonetheless. We get pushback over historical fact all the time about, ancient astrology, all that kind of stuff. But, got to call it out, got to provide the facts.
Yeah, I mean, we just want to chit chat and talk about like the fun facts and the fun things. So the rest of the season, we are going to be talking about historical sites, Greek mythology, all the fun stuff. Maybe we'll do Hadrian and Antonius. I want to put that on the list this year somewhere, because we did say we were going to touch Rome a little bit. So I'm like,
Maybe, like, we could do that around like Valentine's, or we could do it around like spooky season.
we could. We'll find a way to put it in there, but I need people to know about the Roman emperors. Like
Like true crime Rome edition.
there are some crazy things happening in Rome.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
it's so crazy, but it's still ringing true today because, I mean, look at everybody's one of their top favorite emperors, Caligula, who literally was
oh,
fighting. We joked today in 2026 of like people are fighting air. Caligula took it upon himself, as good emperors do, full sarcasm intended, that he waged war against Poseidon, and he had his troops march up to the water, spears in hand, and made his troops. I mean, he was killed after because of such events. He made
as
his
one
troops
does.
stab the ocean to fight Poseidon, the literal earthshaker, and to prove they won, to take the spoils of war back to Rome. They got seashells.
Maybe he had some insane personal beef with Poseidon. Like I sometimes get that when you're on your last goddamn straw, when you're just looking at the sky and you're yelling at God because you're like, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So he literally took umbrage and went and started spearing the ocean, which like I get that deep in my soul, but actually apparently he was going mad. Like he had a serious mental health problem. But dude, I understand that deep in my soul where you're just like, really? Now I'm gonna spear the ocean.
Now, this is my reason. I was looking for a reason all along, and Poseidon caught me on the wrong day.
If you see me spearing the ocean, mind your business.
She's right where she wants to be.
If you see me grabbing the seashells and spearing the ocean, just know I am winning.
You're mine.
If you catch me on our Greece trip doing that, just know something pushed me to the edge.
There was a breaking point.
She was on her last straw.
If you see me spearing the Schuylkill River, it's because somebody is using me to promote pseudo history and pseudo archaeology.
You know what? I'm about to take arms up with the ocean for that. You start punching the sky, the air.
Oh my god. Anything else? I don't know.
No, I don't have anything left to say. And that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, gotta get out before the girls get too easy and the girls get mean.
This is true.
All right, well, I'll take us home, country road.
Take us home.
Thank you so much for listening to another wonderful episode of What Are the Girls Doing? Thanks so much for being here for the great debrief of 2026. Don't forget to subscribe to extra members content if you are looking for more ancient tea, if you're looking for more behind the scenes and behind the art. We have some really, really cool stuff coming out with that. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.